Welcome to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. If you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596 or check us out online at teamlally.com.
Now, Adrian, what's the difference between memorizing something and internalizing something?
I would say that if you memorize it, you have it, but internalizing, it's like part of you.
It sounds conversational. Yes. So how long have we been doing this radio show?
Probably 13 years.
13 years. How long does it take to memorize a script? Like we have like a one-page script that has to do with
bullet points.
Yeah, but if you had a one-page piece of paper, like with words, because this is part of our hiring process.
It is.
And how long does it usually take candidates to memorize one page full of words, top to bottom, left to right?
Usually like a week or two.
A week or two, but not 13 years, right?
No.
Okay, great. That's good to know because it's important that we have these things memorized, internalized, so we sound more conversational. So what I want to talk about is the basics. That's where I'm going with this. I will tell you right now that there's always been this constant conversation between how we are as realtors in our real estate industry showing up on social media. And does that translate or correlate to a high level of service in the real world? In the real world, not on Facebook or Instagrouch or TikTok or Lonely LinkedIn, any of that stuff. What I find is that one has nothing to do with the other. Now, are Adrian and I not on social media doing a bunch of posts, doing things at a high level on social media? Sure. But that does not, what I find a lot in our industry is that you have a lot of agents out there with a lot of views, likes, comments, and everything, and a ton of followers and subscribers and whatever the heck you might call them. And then I look up their agent production, and they haven't sold a home in 6 months.
Because they've been busy creating content.
Yes. So my question for you listeners today, are you looking for an influencer or are you looking for a realtor? I'll say that question one more time. Are you looking for an influencer or are you looking for a realtor? Because
I'll take it a step further.
Yeah.
Because it's like you go and you do your 60 hours of education and
for the
you
real
pass the
estate
test
school,
and you're a realtor.
Yeah.
Right. And so everyone has those same titles. Like you could have gotten your license yesterday or you could have done 1,800 transactions and had over $1 billion in sales. And you're also a realtor.
Yeah. So here's what I would challenge you out there today that as you're going through that situation where either you or somebody you know needs a realtor, I would ask you to not hire us. Don't hire us. Don't hire you. Wait. Am I hearing you? Yeah. I don't want you to hire us. You know what I want you to do?
Interview us.
Interview us. And you know what? Our radio show is a way for you to interview us. Because you're doing it right now by listening to the show and finding out what kind of people we are. But at the end of the day, here are the stats. And as consumers, you should be asking these. You're not doing your, one of the things I always tell clients is you don't owe any agent any one darn thing. You don't own, if you're a seller, you don't owe buyers anything. You don't owe your neighbors anything. You don't owe anybody anything. What you do owe your family, though, and you yourself, though, in selling that home is the very best representation. And I'm not saying, are we perfect? Are we awesome? Are we knocking out of the park? No, but statistically, we're in the top 1% of agents. And
more times we are than not. I mean, we're human and mistakes do happen.
Yeah, check out our one-star reviews. We ain't perfect. We ain't perfect, but I always respond to those one-star reviews because I always want to understand what's the opportunity in that feedback on that one-star review to maybe improve something we're doing or maybe be paying attention to something we may not be aware of. By the way, as a human being, having something that you need to pay attention to that you may not be aware of. I think at the beginning of the show, we're all throughout it. We're always going to talk about PSI seminars, been in Hawaii for over 50 years. And what it does is it's a 3-day course that you go spend time on you figuring out why you behave the way that you do and why do the people around you behave the way they do. And
learning about your programming and those stories,
your behaviors,
those stories that you tell yourself. And your brain wants the brain wants to be correct. So you look for evidence to prove it right.
Yeah, but speaking of people, who we got here?
We have John Speed from Kilauea Pest Control
Yes.
with his tip of the week. Aloha, John.
Hi, John.
Hey,
Good to see you.
we're on.
Welcome back. Welcome back. All
Hi,
right.
John.
So John, what do you have for us this week? All about Kilauea Pest Control. Give us your pest control tip of the week.
Yeah, what you got for us?
Oh, buddies, guys, how you been? It's been a while.
Good. Yeah.
I know.
Yes.
I was like, oh, John is on?
Yes, and our listeners want to know what wonderful, awesome information do you have regarding pest control or pests in general?
What awesome information.
Yeah.
Just call us for an inspection. Just call us,
Okay.
get those termites taken care of. Like
Yeah.
it's either there and we'll find it, or it's coming and you got to protect for it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, termites. We were the first country or first state. It was a country actually. The Kingdom of Hawaii, the first
Yeah.
first state in the nation to get ground termites, the Formosan ground termites
wow.
here because of our sandalwood trade back in the day, and so that's where
Gotcha.
those came over from. But yeah, I would say that, and then just a reminder to all the realtor professionals out there that
Yes.
only Kilauea Pest Control will give your clients a 1 year warranty on the drywood termites once we've cleared
Okay.
the home when you do a termite inspection report with us. So happy.
Yeah.
And that's an amazing offering right there.
Yeah.
It gives you really like a peace of mind just in case like maybe something was missed. Like you guys will come back and you will treat, I think it's like happened maybe a handful of times where they've actually had to,
Yeah.
utilize that warranty. But
Yeah,
like
for
just
sure.
having that really does give the new owners a peace of mind.
Yeah.
Those termites, they really, they can do some serious damage.
So
Oh,
one year warranty if you guys do the home inspection and there's no termites. That's you guys will come and back that up for 1 year.
Yeah.
Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
Okay.
do a termite inspection report, it's good for about 14 days. So with
Yeah.
the realtor, with the house buying process, you got to really dial
Yes.
that in to make sure it's at the end. And then if, even if there are termites, we'll have that treated for sure. And
Yep.
then,
Yeah.
but once that's clear, we give you a full 1 year warranty on that. So that
And
says
that's
a
the
lot.
only
Complimentary.
company. You are
Yeah.
the only one that I've ever heard of that offers this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No additional charge. So what that says is you guys are standing behind your thoroughness,
Mm-hmm.
and even if you're not perfect, you're backing it up with your word.
Yeah.
So good job.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
John. How long you guys been in the business?
Been in business 23 years, 2002.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What
What made you decide to get into pest control?
Well, I was selling door-to-door pest control in Orange County, and I was going to school out here, and it's a good business, and my wife and I wanted to come back, make sure we could live in Hawaii and afford it and whatnot, and I knew if I could sell, I could at least scratch out a living, and so we're here now, and I just love working with the homeowners and businesses to one, protect their homes, but just make it cleaner and just better living, just better living in Hawaii.
Question for our future entrepreneurs out there, current entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
This is from the Small Business Association. At about the 10-year mark, probably about 98% of businesses are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Dunzo. What's made you guys get all the way to 20 to break past that and survive that 98% failure rate? To be doing this for 23 years. What do you think have been like some of the keys to that you could share with our future entrepreneurs?
Yeah, for sure. For me, this is I'm of two things. I'm very over-indexed in confidence. I don't know why. There's not a good reason.
Yeah.
But also I realize that I do need education, and so I'm always trying to learn more. And I went to college. I went to a master's degree, but even that aside, like the education that you can get nowadays from YouTube is so high level. It's crazy on the marketing and sales side. And so I had lunch with an entrepreneur. He does It's actually a business that we're getting into, is the window washing. So we're getting into
Oh,
pools,
nice.
window washing, all the home services. But I had lunch with a young entrepreneur, 22 years old. This kid was so humble and so just in tune with what it really takes for business. I am so excited to watch this kid, take off. I mean, I didn't start my business till I was
Yeah.
28, but
Yeah.
which is relatively young. I'm 51 now, and so it's been a few years.
Mm-hmm.
But surrounding yourself with a good group of people, um, having I would say getting lucky. I don't know, but it's attracting a good team. And sometimes,
Okay.
when you're starting up, you don't have the money to pay for that, and so it's
Yeah.
just attracting good people that can take what you give them and run with it, self-starters, and they
Gotcha.
will be able to grow into um, high-level performers and a great team. And so that's what we have. That's
Yeah.
what I feel Kilauea, the secret sauce, is really is our amazing team.
All right. So the takeaway is don't be a knucklehead, because I'll tell you what I mean by that. Because it's the law of attraction.
Yeah, for sure.
John, if you're a knucklehead, you'd be attracting knuckleheads, and you all be out of business at the 10-year mark or sooner.
That's right.
You've attracted to you what you are in the world. It's the law of attraction. You attract to you who you are.
And you're learning, and you use the word lucky, and I don't want you to shortchange yourself. I don't think it's luck. I think that you are very intentional and a hard worker.
Yeah.
And when you
I've
do
definitely
that,
been put in some good places.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that too. Being in the right place at the right time and having the right relationships.
You know what? If you have the right mindset and the confidence, all of a sudden opportunities come your way.
Right.
That's called, again, the law of attraction. But again, you got those friends and relatives, they got this mindset like, I'm so unlucky. Nothing ever happens good for me. It's terrible. And they have an Eeyore tattoo on their shoulder. And it says, I heart Eeyore. Yeah. So a lot of great lessons from Winnie the Pooh. So you can either be Winnie the Pooh or be John Speed, because your last name, you got to be the Tigger.
That's right.
Yeah. You got to be the Tigger.
That's right.
And if you want to get stuff done, I see my pest control guy from Kilauea. They come every couple months, and they're bouncing around the outside of my house.
They're helping us with our office. They're helping my house. We love it. We love Kilauea Pest Control.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Good to see you.
Thanks for being on the show.
Too. Yeah, aloha.
You too. Aloha.
Okay, that's John Speed from Kilauea Pest Control. He is an expert we trust. You can find all about him and his team on the resource tab.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got one more expert we trust before we take a break. We've got Danny Langerman on with his mortgage tip of the week. Hey,
Danny, what you got for us this week?
Hey, guys. I've been getting a lot of questions asked about with the war in Iran, what it's doing to interest rates. So I thought I'd just give a quick update on that. So they've gone up a little bit because oil has gone up. And so it's inflationary. And so, for the most part, conventional loans went from the high 7s to the low 6s. And you're still looking at VA loans in the mid 5s. So they're not out of hand. Nothing's gone crazy as of right now. So if you're going to buy a house, put an offer in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's more of the effect would be maybe not any financial or economic effect, but it's probably just pure psychology. And I don't know, I watched some YouTube videos on what happened with all of that. And it's just, it's unfortunate for the situation, but we're definitely in a strong situation here being in the United States, and not going to discuss the right or wrong of it or this or that. But my personal opinion is we don't have much to worry about at this point. And so life goes on for us average Joes and Joannes, and we got to go buy houses. Yeah.
Very much.
There's a lot of movement. There's a lot of movement during this time. People are out looking and shopping. We're definitely seeing an uptick in as far as like the amount of buyers that are out ready to shop with the rates, kind of settling in, and even buyers that are a little bit more comfortable with doing these rate buy downs.
Yeah.
Maybe you could talk a little bit about that. Like, how could you buy down a rate to get even a lower monthly payment?
Well, talk about what exactly is all that gobbledygook you just said. What does that mean, buying down the rate?
So buying down the rate is, typically if you have additional seller concessions, like I was saying, let's say your VA loan is in the mid 5s. Maybe we can get it down to the low 5s by having additional seller concessions to buy the rate down, to get a lower rate, to get you into a house, to have you, to get you more of a comfortable payment. and what have you.
Yeah. Now, we talked about this the other day, and we're circling back to it now in this moment on the show. But one client had a concern with a credit pool for, the credit pool for the process of applying for a loan. What was your share with the response to those people that are concerned about credit pools when they're out there, shopping around for a good mortgage?
So 1 credit pull, 2 credit pulls typically isn't going to do any harm to your credit. It's when you're doing 7, 8, 9, 10, a bunch of those credit pulls, then investors and other banks look at that as like you're desperate to get a loan to get out of some sort of financial situation. So if you're out there looking for a property, like for us, if you tell me what your credit score is, I'm going to go off of that until we're ready to actually pull it. And then we'll go ahead and we'll see exactly what it is. But a lot of times, if you know what your credit score is, and I would say 90% of people kind of have an idea of what their credit score is, you tell the loan officer that, they can actually use that to really kind of get your pre-approvals up and moving.
Yeah.
So Danny, if you're looking at an app like, for example, Credit Karma, how close is that credit score to the actual credit score? Because that's where you would get the credit score from, is like a consumer app, right?
Yes, it gives you a good idea. It's not as accurate. I think more people are more upset when we end up pulling their credit, because typically Credit Karma is going to make you feel a lot better than what it actually is. So it's typically, it'll be a little bit lower, but it gives you a good idea. If someone's like, well, my credit score is...
Like the range.
Yes, that's
well, if it was designed to make you feel bad, it would be called credit pissed off.
That's right.
And so there's a reason why they call it Credit Karma.
Exactly.
The other thing too that we know is that if you're pulling credit for like buying a truck, a Macy's credit card, and all these different type of credit avenues, that is going to affect your credit score. And also too, I do know, and I looked it up, is that the credit reporting agencies will give you some slack so long if you're doing credit pulls for mortgages. If you're doing them spread out over 6 months, it'll have a big effect. But if you're doing it within, they say if you can get it done within, like, there's a 30-day window, but they said best to get it done within 14 days. So if you're deciding to shop around for the mortgage, don't spread it all out.
Just do it all in
Get it done now.
Yep.
And they won't penalize you for being a good consumer and shopping and making sure that you're getting the best rate and the best program and the best lender.
And it shouldn't affect your credit score, because that's telling them that you are a good consumer or user of credit, because you just don't want to willy-nilly get out there and just go get any mortgage. But thanks so much, Danny, for being on the show with DHA Mortgage.
DHA Financial.
Financial. All right.
Thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
All right. So Danny is an expert we trust. You can find him on the resource tab on teamlally.com.
Adrian, could you share a success story?
I'm going to share a success story before we jump to our break. So this one, the title is, "We Could Not Have Done This Without You." Those were the words from the buyer after working through weeks of questions during escrow. This buyer had concerns about the condo and HOA documents and could have caused them to walk away.
Yep.
Actually, Attilio and I got on the line with these clients. They were very detailed and they did their research. Okay. So instead, Angela and Olivia spent 2 weeks making calls and sending emails to gather answers, ensuring the buyer felt confident moving forward. The results?
Close escrow.
A successful closing and a happy homeowner.
Yeah.
Okay, this also marks Angela's first closing with Team Lally, so congratulations to Angela on this milestone, and great teamwork with Olivia and guiding in this transaction to the finish line. Good job, guys.
Every story has a point.
Yes.
And there's always a moral to the story. Here's the moral to a story. Be detailed oriented in your research. More information gathered, the better. You make an intelligent decision with more information versus less. So do your research and have discernment. Mm-hmm. You got to be able to be careful about what you're looking at to make sure, because I will tell you right now, if you want to find reasons not to close a transaction or buy any particular piece of real estate, you'll find them. Mm-hmm. You'll find them, but you've got to take all of that data that you're getting and run it through your own personal chat GPT in your head called discernment. And we make it easy for you. We will provide you with the discernment to say, okay, take a look at this information you found and let's interpret that. And what does that really mean long-term for you as a homeowner?
Yeah. So these people are ready to cancel.
Yeah.
And then after taking a pause, reflect, dig a little deeper, they realize, oh, like this is not as bad as we thought it was.
Yeah.
So yeah, good teamwork, good communication, good data gathering.
In fact, I want to share with you guys the experience you're going to have when you list your home with us is that you're going to get a call from our team every Monday. Mm-hmm. And whether you answer or not, we'll leave you a detailed voicemail. And then in your inbox, either before or after that call, you're going to get a recap of the conversation. Now, like, they're like, wait a minute. How can you send a recap of a conversation before you call? Because there's a specific agenda that we want to talk to you about. And so we make sure that that's all in there. And then, so we want that to come to you on Mondays with a recap. And it's basically going to look like this. What's happened in the last 7 days? What's the game plan for the next 7 days? And so that in an email with today's date for Monday, mm-hmm. you'll be able to look back and say, okay, these are the different conversations throughout the process. I'm not having to look at some big, super long, embedded email with a whole bunch of nested emails. I'll know from week to week what is happening, because as things get completed, you know that they got completed, but you don't need to rehash it every week, is the point I'm making. And so communication is going to be a critical part of your experience with Team Lally.
That's right. All right. On that note, speaking of good communication, we are going to take a break and stay with us. When we come back, we'll be talking with Tiffany Davies of IPX 1031. We're going to talk about the 1031 exchanges, how real estate investors can defer taxes, and the strategies that help investors grow their real estate portfolios.
So if you're ever wondering, what the heck is a 1031 exchange? Stay with us.
Hey, you know someone that moved to the mainland but left the rental property behind? So Amber wanted to create a new investment opportunities on the mainland, but she had to sell her island rental first. So she reached out to our good friends, Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Handling the business virtually with Amber, Adrian and Attilio came prepared with multiple 5-star selling strategies, including adjusting Amber's selling price expectations, and the home sold in days. If you're in the market to sell your home and you want a team that will make you the most money with the least amount of drama, you can trust our good friends, Adrian and Attilio of Team Lally. Give them a call today, 808-799-9596. That's 808-799-9596. They're trusted. You see their signs all over in my community. Visit teamlally.com today. That's teamlally.com today.
The only real estate team I trust right here in Honolulu is Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi of Team Lally Real Estate Group of Keller Williams, Honolulu. Now, thanks for joining me today. What's the number one reason homes don't sell on time?
Sean, sellers are in denial. They are stuck in the previous market and not pricing their homes properly.
How do you solve that problem?
We have a 12-step program. The first step is to have a smart pricing strategy. We follow the 10-10-0 rule. 10 showings, no offers, we have to adjust. 10 days on the market, no showings, another adjustment. For the other 11 steps, give us a call.
Great update. Thank you for keeping us informed. Put the most experience and the best marketing to work for you. Call Team Lally now at 799-9596 or online at teamlally.com. That's teamlally.com. And you can start packing.
In today's fast-changing real estate market, you need access to the right information to make smart choices. I invest in real estate all over the country, and I rely on smart agents who know their local market inside and out. In Honolulu, I work with Adrian Lally and Attilio Leonardi. Adrian, Attilio, and their team sell a home every 72 hours and have over 750 5-star reviews. Go to teamlally.com and find out in just seconds what your home is really worth.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the Guaranteed Sold program, or we'll buy it. I'm Adrian.
And I'm Attilio.
And if you have any questions, just give us a call at 799-9596, or you can check us out online at teamlally.com. All right. So our guest today is Tiffany Davies. She's the Vice President and Regional Account Executive with the Investment Property Exchange Services. Tiffany brings more than 2 decades of experience in Hawaii and California in the areas of 1031 exchange, escrow, and real estate. Prior to joining IPX 1031, she worked in sales and marketing with Fidelity National. at Escrow of Hawaii and Chicago Title in California. She's also active in several professional organizations, including the Honolulu Association of Realtors, Realtor Association of Maui, CCIM, NAIOP, and the Federation of Exchange Accommodators. Tiffany regularly provides continuing education classes across Hawaii for investors and real estate professionals.
That's a great intro. Do you need some oxygen? Yeah.
So I'm sure there's so much more.
Yeah.
But we are very pleased to have, I think we've had you on before, yeah. So welcome back, Tiffany Davies.
Thank you. Good to be here, you guys.
So we're going to have our listeners learn about the 1031 exchange today. Yes, welcome back, Tiffany.
All right.
So we got some questions. What is a 1031 exchange, and why is it such a powerful tool for real estate investors?
Well, a 1031 exchange really is the last great wealth building tool that we have available to taxpayers. A 1031 is basically a way to dispose of real estate or investment property you've held for productive use or in a trade. So like investment properties that you've been renting out, as long as you plan to roll all of those funds forward and buy something that's equal or greater value, and that's also like kind, then you can defer all of those capital gains taxes that would normally be due. So it's really a great, powerful strategy to keep your tax dollars in your pocket and not giving them to Uncle Sam, and just to build your family's wealth.
Now, talk more about like kind. You mean like these are properties that you like and they're occupied by kind people? Mm-hmm. What does that mean, like kind?
That's such a good one. Like kind refers to the nature of the property. So it's not necessarily how the property is listed in MLS or the use of it. It's how you treat it. So if you have a condo and you rent that property out, that would be you can basically sell a condo and buy another condo. You can sell vacant land and buy residential property. As long as you plan to treat it as investment, it's going to work. The only thing that's a little tricky is leasehold properties, but anything fee simple to fee simple is going to be considered like kind investment property.
Yeah, we have heard some nightmares about the leasehold 1031 exchanges. I think that if you do have a leasehold that you want to purchase or you're thinking about selling, make sure to have a good conversation with Tiffany and understand like what that strategy needs to be. Because if you misstep it by a couple years or whatever, like you could be caught paying some capital gains taxes, right?
Yep.
So Tiffany, what does 1031 stand for? Where did that come from, that name, 1031? Yep.
1031, that's a really good question. I don't really know where the beginning part of that name comes from. I know that exchanges got started in 1913, and it used to be, I like your property, you like my property, let's do a deed swap. Mm-hmm. And then in the 80s, we saw the introduction of the timelines where they started giving us 45 days to identify replacement property and 180 days to close. So that was quite nice. But the 1031 exchanges have just been gaining traction. People have to learn about what this is. You don't want to learn about a 1031 at the closing table.
No.
How last minute has somebody ever called you?
I don't know if I should answer. No, I'm just kidding. Day before, we want to get the exchange documents in place, signed prior to closing. But, we don't want to do exchanges the day before. I'd say if, 3 to 4 days, it's no problem to set up an exchange in that kind of timeline. If we've got a week or 2 weeks, that's absolutely even better.
Gotcha. Yeah. The point of asking that question is because there might be somebody on the phone right now. Oh, you know what? We're in escrow, and I got to go do this, and I don't want to pay a whole bunch of capital gains, but maybe it's too late. But if you
at least have a day or so before closing, sounds like it's never too late, right?
For people, it is too late
after
because
closing.
IRS,
it's after it closes, it's too late.
But is that true?
After closing, it's absolutely
you're the expert on 1031.
She said the day before.
All right. So when it closes and you take possession of those funds,
that's too late.
I have a very technical term. It's donezo.
Donezo, or you could call it, if the clients receive the funds, it's called constructive receipt. And at that point, the exchange is absolutely off the table.
Yeah, I was working with the IRS back in the day, and I suggested Dunzo, but they went with constructive receipt instead. I was like, boo.
So, Tiffany, they have some different types of exchanges. There is this reverse exchange. How does that work?
Yes. So right now we are doing a lot of reverse exchanges. So this is where maybe you've got tenants in your property, or maybe your property just isn't selling, or you want to make some improvements, but you found something you want to buy today, but you don't want to lose that deferral. So the key with a reverse 1031 exchange, of course, you still need to be buying up in value, or at least equal or greater in value. But you would actually be able to move forward with the purchase first. And I can explain the ins and outs, the mechanics of it, but it's actually where you're going to purchase first and then take 180 days to sell. And what we typically do is in a reverse 1031 exchange, it's what we call a parking transaction. So we create a separate entity to take title to that purchase property while you're selling your property. And we become the exchange accommodation title holder, or the EAT for short. But we become the EAT. So we create that LLC. You fund that LLC either with cash, which is fantastic if you have, and a lot of our clients do, believe it or not, or you can get a loan, but there's some trickiness with getting a loan. It's not your everyday standard loan that you would work with. So we have to vet that, but we fund that LLC and we proceed with closing. That starts your timeline, and you would have 45 days to identify what you're going to sell. So if you're a big time investor and have multiple properties, it would give you 45 days to decide what you're selling, and you would have 6 months to get that property sold. And the really curious thing about a reverse 1031 exchange is that we also at IPX do non-safe harbor reverse 1031s. So think of like a property that's like $10 million. That might take a little more than 6 months to sell. If your intent is to truly sell, you actually can venture outside of those timelines. And with IPX, we'll actually park that property for up to 2 years. So that's pretty powerful.
Oh, wow.
What a great benefit. That's a really nice kind of like insurance policy.
Well, it's in alignment with, sometimes opportunities come and the timing is not the best. And so if you don't take action, then that opportunity's gone. So I can imagine that that's the reason why these have come up. I was thinking in my head too, it's like, don't you wish there was like a dating app? Like you get into a bad relationship and you can do reverse dating?
Or you could like do swapping your spouses, like 1031s with your spouses. Like, I like yours, you like mine. Let's just switch. No.
But I think like reverse, get out of it. But so 1031 exchanges, the big thing that people confuse is that it's not eliminating the capital gains. What's it doing with the capital gains? It's not eliminating it. What is it doing?
No. It's pushing them down the road. It's kicking the can down the road. And then you have to basically, want to look at an exit strategy. And we can talk exit strategies, but, you're just pushing those taxes down the road. And eventually you're going to be on the hook for them. Or what a lot of our clients do is they leave that property to their heirs, and their heirs get a stepped up basis in the property. So rather than adding your children to title, it's always a good idea to sit down with your tax advisor and talk about maybe creating a trust and leaving that property to your children. Because if I, inherit my mom's basis in the property, which is probably pretty low, versus if my mom lets me get a stepped up basis to what her property is valued at today, and I can turn around and sell it the next day, I can pocket all of that cash tax free. So that's the preferred way to leave property.
There's some names for that. Swap until you drop.
Swap until you drop.
Defer until you die.
Swap until you drop.
Well, the other thing too we want to point out too is I'm the jargon police. We talk about cost basis and step up in cost basis to my favorite line is from the movie Philadelphia. I think that is Denzel Washington was an attorney. He said, "Explain it to me like I'm an 11-year-old." And so for our 11-year-olds that are listening to the show right now, what that means is if grandma bought the house in 1959 for $30,000 and you're selling it today we're going to do a step up in cost basis of what it is today.
The value today. Yep.
Today, and let's say it's like $2 million, so that you're not paying the difference between $20,000 and $2 million.
Yep.
Yeah, and eliminate.
What a great tool and what a great plan, right? But you've got to understand the strategies and be working with professionals that understand these strategies that will like prevent you from having these very costly mistakes.
Now, the other term that I hear you guys called by is intermediaries.
Yes.
Intermediaries. Now, you guys handle 1031 exchanges. You're not there to settle arguments between spouses, right? It's only the 1031.
No, just 1031. Yeah, we are helping clients sell investment property and buy investment property. So we have a lot of names. We go by, exchange company, yes. QI, qualified intermediary, facilitator. So
Tiffany, being a qualified intermediary, there's like some kind of special licensing. How does that work? Or can anyone just say, I'm a qualified intermediary and then like be taking people's money while they're doing the 1031?
Truly, yes. So us three right here could decide to become a qualified intermediary. There's no regulation in our industry. We've pushed for regulation, but, IPX 1031 is the nation's largest exchange company. We're part of Fidelity National Financial, so you cannot get a better exchange company. Safety and security is our utmost concern and our priority for our clients. So as far as us, we are we are the best company, but if you're looking at others, you definitely want to do your due diligence because there have been horror stories, especially in the financial meltdown. I've been in this industry a long time and was around in those days and saw, millions of dollars basically just go away out of clients' exchange accounts because companies were trying to turn quick profits. When they couldn't keep up with those profits, they melted down. And sometimes they even take title companies down with them. So it's really, really important to know who you're working with.
Oh, wow. Okay. So if we go visit you at your office and you're in the back of a taco shop, might be a red flag.
Never.
That's really unfortunate that's really unfortunate that it's not regulated, but I think it's very important that our listeners understand that and to do their due diligence if they're going to do a 1031 exchange to be with a reputable company like Tiffany has and, just be with someone that knows what they're doing and that they are going to do what's in the client's best interest.
And for you listeners out there, Adrian and I, we didn't Google this or chat GPT. We've actually done a couple of 1031s, and they're, in fact, we're coming to you from a 1031 exchange like kind property. The office we're sitting in, we sold an investment property, bought the place cash, and so the Team Lally radio show is coming to you from a like kind property.
I love it.
So Tiffany, what do you see are the biggest mistakes that investors make when it comes to the 1031?
Yeah. So, not knowing replacement value. So not knowing how much they need to spend on the replacement property. A lot of clients think that they only need to move their equity forward, but it's actually the sales price. And it's tricky for us because we can't guide or advise on this topic, but we can give them some kind of guide to work with. So, basically when you're looking at a 1031 exchange, you start with your listing price and you're able to minus off normal standard closing costs and commissions. What you're left with is your net sales price. So let's just say I sell a property for $1 million and I have a mortgage payoff of $500,000. When escrow closes, they're going to pay that mortgage off. So what comes into the exchange is $500,000, but the clients still need to buy for $1 million. So not understanding replacement value is really important. You want to buy equal or greater value to the sales price. And there are some caveats to that. Like if we don't know if clients are carrying forward losses would offset gain. So that's why we always push them back to their tax advisor. But that would be definitely one of them. Missing the 45-day window, that can be another. sometimes people decide to take an international vacation during that 45-day window. That's why we started letting our clients sign on our own platform via DocuSign. So that's been huge for us. So missing that window. And then, maybe over-identification, you could say that might be one, or not using the new property properly. So, they plan to just move right into it. That could be a big mistake. We want to make sure that that replacement property is held for investment purposes, at least for a couple of years before you move into it. So those would probably be some of the bigger ones.
Okay, so I got one more question for you. So how can investors use the 1031 exchanges as a long-term wealth building strategy?
Yes.
I think we talked a little bit about it, but let's go.
Well, we did.
Let's go deeper. Yeah, we did. That's one example.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a lot of our clients start small. There's a couple of different ways you could probably get in the game. Here in Hawaii, our values are so high. So maybe looking at a studio, anything you can buy, put a tenant in there, rent it out a year and a day to a couple years. We want you, again, to check with your tax advisor prior to an exchange. But, you start small, get a tenant in there. And then after owning that a couple of years, you could sell it and buy something a little bigger and better. The other thing that people, and eventually you're trying to get to the nice big property. And sometimes what our clients do is they have a goal of starting small, and then eventually they want to buy their dream home where one day they want to move into it. So that would be one exit strategy out of the 1031. But, you're basically trying some way to own investment property. So that might even be buying, especially here in Hawaii, we have these ohanas and we have these larger properties that might be sectioned off with rentals. That's another way to get started, is to have what we call a mixed use property. I had a friend that owned a property in Kaneohe. She had a 2-bedroom, 2-bath upstairs. She had a 2-bedroom, 1-bath downstairs and a little small studio. And she lived in that studio and rented 75% of her property out. So when she came time to sell that property 2 years later, she exchanged 75% of that property.
Oh, so you can do a partial exchange.
And then she also took advantage of the 121 homeowners exclusion on the principal residence and got to exclude $250,000.
Wow, very savvy.
Yeah. Very powerful.
I love
strategy.
that example. So there's a lot of different ways to utilize this 1031 exchange. But it starts with a conversation with, I would say, your realtors that understand how to work with investors, as well as their intermediary or 1031 exchange expert, Tiffany D.
Yeah, I would. Here's a question for your realtor that you're working with. Have you personally ever done a 1031 exchange? That would be a good question. And so I think that's the three-pronged approach, is making sure you got Tiffany Davis as a qualified intermediary. You got
an expert, resident expert here.
Yep. And then you got realtors that have personally done it and know how the process works. And then the third person would probably be a CPA, because this is about avoiding large tax consequences. And I think that here's the basic component, people, for you sell a property for $1 million, and let's say you don't owe anything on it. And let's say, I'm just picking a number, $200,000 is owed in taxes. If you just cash it out, instead of giving $200,000 to Uncle Sam, the federal government, and Uncle Kimo, the state of Hawaii, you would just put that into the next property and keep growing. And you keep
I like that plan. That's a much better plan.
Because then you have the money working for you. And instead of doing it with each transaction with the taxes, push it forward down the road.
Swap until you drop.
Yep.
Right?
I liked the other one.
Tiffany, thank you so much for coming on our show. Is there any last minute words of wisdom you have on 1031 exchanges before we let you go?
I'd love to leave you guys with a story that one of the best clients that I worked with, and I just think what they did was incredible. They actually were able to purchase, they had 2 properties in California that they wanted to sell. They were fully deferred, meaning they had gotten every last dollar out of those properties. So they actually sold those 2 properties for $300,000. So fully deferred, meaning they had been deferring those properties for 27 and a half years. So that's another reason why people actually do 1031 exchanges. And they bought a property here in Hawaii for $1 million. So they bought themselves $700,000 of new depreciation. And then they also used the 1031 to estate plan. They let their son be their tenant on paper. They charged him fair market value rent. And that property will be left to him upon their passing. He'll get a stepped up basis and he can do what he wants with the property. So I really liked that strategy, and I teach that to our clients all the time.
All right. So those parents out there with adult kids, get them off the couch. Get them off the couch.
Turn them into tenants.
Turn them into tenants. And that's our...
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Tiffany, so much for your wisdom.
You're welcome.
And your stories. Really appreciate it. And yeah, any of our listeners have questions on 1031 exchanges, we'll have Tiffany's information available. You can go to ipx1031.com and contact her there. We'll have the information as well on our different platforms. You can also call her at 387-4140.
And she got an 808 number, so she has the 808 number, so you can trust her.
I'm here locally, guys. Call me. I love the phone.
Thank you, Tiffany. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you so much. Aloha.
All right, so we've got a couple minutes left in our show, and we've got some open houses to talk about. Yes.
What? We're a real estate team with open houses? That must mean we have tons of listings. Yes, it does.
We've got 5 of them open this weekend. So starting on Saturday from 2 to 4 on Pakeke Street over there in Sea Country, $570,000.
This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square foot Sea Country home with fresh interior paint, outdoor space with calamansi and papaya trees and access to community pool and dog park. Woo, woo. Short sale sold as is.
All right. Our Sunday open houses are all from 2 to 5.
Yeah.
The first one is on Waikalani Drive. This is at Evergreen Terrace, listed at $499,000.
This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 934 square feet, Evergreen Terrace condo with upgraded kitchen, custom
penny. Yes, love the flooring.
One with it's the copper coin with the Abraham Lincoln on it. Tile flooring, covered lanai, 2 parking stalls, and resort style community pool. Short sale approved. Oh, you know what that means? We got the approval. We just need you to bring us an offer so we can get this baby into escrow.
All right. The next one is also in Mililani on Waikalani Place, Unit B404. This is a first open, $410,000, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 800 square feet. It's a move-in ready with tiled flooring, new water heater, convenient access to Mililani Town Shopping Center, and dining.
Next one is at 95-500 Koa'uka Loop. That's Unit 7, Emma's and Mary. This one's in Aiea. This is a grand open house, which means it's never been shown before or seen. It's like
the Pearl one.
Yeah, it's like a grand open movie, first time in theaters. $355,000, 1-bedroom, 1-bath, 605 square feet condo with Pearl Harbor views, open lanai, secured building entry, and amenities including a pool. Ooh, tennis court. You could probably play sideways and do pickleball and recreation area.
All right, the last one, we're going to take you all the way to Ka'apa. This is on Kamehameha Highway. It is listed for $485,000. Yes, 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, 757 square feet. It is a ground level Makua Village condo with a Ko'olau Mountain and ocean views.
Hawaiian word check here. Hawaiian word check from your native Hawaiian in the studio, Attilio. Makawa
Village.
They may be going. Okay. They may be going to the wrong. If you say Makua, that's all the way on the Waianae side. They're going to the wrong side of the island.
All right. There's 2 parking stalls, a washer dryer in unit, and this is really cool. It has a VA assumable loan at 3.5%.
3.5%. Now, one of the things that we do in our documents, we have a miscellaneous document section here on our listings, but we always put the comparison or what the numbers look like for the assumable loan. And then we run a comparison that if you got a full loan for the entire amount, purchase amount, based on today's interest, what you're looking at the savings and interest, because if you didn't realize this, there's a huge chunk of your initial payments because it's called
the interest.
It's all interest. So if you have a loan that's already gone through the high interest part of the mortgage payment history, then you're saving, like on some of these, we ran calculations.
$200,000 in interest.
Yes.
Not to mention that to do a VA assumable, it's much lower closing costs than just getting a fresh brand new loan.
Yeah.
Now, you do need to have that little gap or a big gap, depending on how big that gap is. But hey, like, it could be worth it.
So
pay off big time.
Get the assumable loan, because that'll leave you with more money in your budget. And then maybe instead of getting steamed manapua, you can get baked manapua. I always perceive baked manapua as more better than the steamed one.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and thank you to our sponsors. Bradley with Allstate Insurance.
Kenji with Pillar to Post Home Inspection.
John with Kilauea Pest Control.
Duke with Hawaii Pacific Property Management.
Robinson Fine Line Paintworks.
Ampy with Estate Planning Group.
Jason Wu, Attorney at Law.
Rhino with Hawaii Unified.
Janice of Dream House Drafting.
Fabio with Hawaii Water Damage Restoration.
Kyle of Impact Wealth.
Brian with Cleanscape.
Benji of Hawaii Referral Agent.
Danny with DHA Financial Mortgage.
Joseph with Keymasters Locksmith of Hawaii.
Christopher with Falcon Services. If you want to get a hold of any of our sponsors, it's real easy. All you got to do is go to teamlally.com.
We also want to give a big thank you to Hans, our producer. Make sure to tune in next week. We'll have an awesome guest talking about something that'll change your life
forever. This is the Team Lally Real Estate Show, home of the guaranteed sold program.
If we can't sell your home at the agreed upon price and or time frame, we'll have it bought for cash.
Thanks and aloha.